be consequential in whichever way. Secondly, the same former deputy president was very categorical that without Raila Odinga, William Ruto is done. Yes, and he said that William Ruto is on life support and that life support is Raila Odinga. Once you remove Raila Odinga, William Ruto is done. Does that still stand, and is that the strategy?
Well, I think he's been proven right in the sense that to see the way the president behaved, both in Nyayo Stadium and in Bondo, is a clear testimony that he realizes Raila is the only card left on the table for him to survive in the next general election. So that's why he was trying to endear himself to Raila Odinga by saying that they have come a long way. But the least that I know, as far as this history is concerned, of our political landscape, is that they only worked with Raila for 5 years. And no sooner Eddie embraced Raila to win the 2007 general election and also win part of his, a large section of his community, almost 90% of the Kalenjin community went to ODM in 2007. He was again on the trenches trying to undermine the same Raila Odinga. Initially, he said Raila should have been able to demonstrate to us where are the 4,000 young men gone. But subsequent to that, he was able to take a rallying call that is Raila, who was responsible for the eviction of the Kalenjins from the Mau forest. A situation that was not entirely true, because that decision was taken in the cabinet of which William Ruto was part of. And having taken that position, because Raila Odinga, as a prime minister at that time, and the person implementing government policies, was only implementing what the cabinet had passed. So that tells you a lot about, to prove what the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua said, that life support was Raila. And therefore, in the absence of Raila, he still expects the instruments of support to still be intact for the purposes of surviving, for the balance of the time, and perhaps having honorable kind of competition in the next general election. But I feel very strongly that invoking the name of Raila is just not enough. Because if anybody was to invoke the name of Raila authoritatively, it should be the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, who decided to be with Raila for 15 years, 10 years as running mate, and even when he was not running mate, he was able to deliver his constituency to the coalition that Raila was part of. And not only delivering that constituency, but the turnout in what is perceived to be Ukambani, what we call Ukambani, where the Kambas are, all the way to Mombasa, where 100,000 voters are from Kitui, was higher than in the backyard of Raila in Luo Nyanza, because Luo Nyanza at a lower percentage, and these are statistics that any Kenyan can just Google and get that information. So Kalonzo Musyoka never spent time saying I was so close to Raila, but William Ruto spent a lot of time that we have come a long way. They were only together for 5 years. The rest of the time he was calling him Muganga, Mzee wa Vitendawili, and all kind of names. And I remember, and I like social media. All of a sudden I'm a fan of social media in the sense that they keep a lot of information. Anything I say today will be picked at some stage when I say the opposite. And that caricature, or whatever we call political sarcasm, will come on my face, and I cannot deny, because I realize it's me who said this. I remember whatever is doing the rounds now is saying, why are you calling Raila Baba? Don't you have your own father? And then he himself is calling Raila Baba. And that comes out very nicely to tell you that as politicians, we say what we feel is convenient for our own political survival. I don't know, Fred, whether I've answered your question.
Yes, that one maybe, but there's the other one on regarding Gachagua failing to attend any of the ceremonies around the funeral.
I think he did the right thing. I've not talked to him since the Raila passed on the 15th of this month. I've not talked to him. But if I was to advise him, and I like advising my colleagues and friends and those I work with, I would have told him to keep away. Mm-hmm. Because you see, it would have been almost a backlash on him had he gone to Nyayo Stadium. You see, the way Uhuru was received is not because what Uhuru said after Raila passed on. It is because of the history they had with Raila. The fact that he himself went out of his way to campaign for the leader of official opposition and leave his own deputy president. And you've seen that Uhuru has demonstrated that he was genuine to the Raila family. And so the Honorable Gachagua can later on, just like many other Kenyans, because mourning with the family is not the day of burial, it's not the day of the death. You can even go after 2 months to say pole to Mama Ida, because that will still be useful for the family. But any other mourner could have been doing it for the cameras. And the cameras are very kind. At times they show us the body language of the person, like in Nyayo Stadium. If there is the most awkward moment for President William Ruto, it was at the Nyayo Stadium, where the bishop who preached, a very nice guy, told him as is. Then when President Uhuru Kenyatta got that reception, you know, William Ruto has one weakness. He wants to be the shining star. That's why he calls himself a scientist. He calls himself the most educated president, and as if education has something to do with leadership. At times, leadership can come from ordinary people, like the chief, is he called Ngok?
Yeah, Ngok.
He may not have gone to school, but he's a serious guy in West Pokot. I don't know, he may be too old now, but he's a serious guy that any time he talked, the community would listen to him.
Right.
It is not about education.
Still does.
Yeah, President Moi was a high school, a simple teacher.
Primary.
But for 24 years, we felt safe under his hands. Winston Churchill was a Form 2 dropout, but he led Britain, which had more professors than we have today at that particular time. So when you pontificate yourself that you say you are the most educated, as if you went to the last school and the first school, is not really true.
Okay.
Yep.
And of course, we'll continue examining what the opposition feels and their strategic plan going forward 2027. But before 2027, as you make your final comments, the other thing to consider is the sustainability of the broad-based arrangement. Raila Odinga was a co-principal